Yeah, you can say hi. Hey, Mac.
Hey, I'm going to mute you right now.
Okay, it's Todd.
All right, good morning, folks. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you have a set of dumbbells before we get into the workout. We'll be going through every exercise 2 times. And with that, let's go ahead and get into our warm-up. We're going to start off with some step backs, overhead reach. Keep those arms nice and straight as you step back into that lunge. Keep that head nice and tall. Just stay as upright as you can. Same cueing, same themes. Draw the abs in. Sit back. Feel yourself sinking into your hips. See if you can feel the back of the hips stretch, kind of along through here of that front leg. And then as you stand up, see if you can feel those same muscles contract, shorten. Good, cross your arm into the lead leg here. Keep the arms nice and straight. Toes facing forward too. See if you can feel the pressure on the big toe of the back foot. Once in the bottom of the lunge, get a little stretch the Achilles tendon that way, pushing down on that big toe. Hands on hips. Let's do some curtsy lunges here. Try to stay nice and upright here. So continue to keep your torso facing towards me, facing towards your screen. Try to keep your hips level as well. It's going to cause a lot of rotation through the pelvis. Good for stretching and contracting those muscles. Getting you ready for a bunch of squats and lunges, which I promise you we will be doing lots today. So a couple more here. Let's do 2 more. We'll do some butt kicks after this. Here we go, butt kicks. Nice and light. Drive those heels up. We'll do some power jacks. Power jacks coming up next. On power jacks, try to keep your elbows to shoulder height. Let's go ahead with that. So you'll notice here on the power jacks, my elbows are staying at shoulder height. I'm not letting them collapse down. Likewise, try to keep your forearm vertical as you're doing this so you're not internally rotating at the shoulder joint. So arms are staying vertical with the floor, forearms are staying vertical with the floor. That's just going to engage those upper back muscles a little more. Makes it a little harder too, through the shoulders. But that's okay. A couple more here. We'll do some step back overhead reach in a second. Let's do 2 more. All right, step back overhead reach. Try to straighten those elbows a little more. I know your arms feel straight, but why not straighten them just a little more? Continue to bend the back knee. Bend the back knee a little more. I know it feels like you're bending the back knee, but I know you're also leaving a little reserve. Bend the knee. Stretch that quadricep muscle, that thigh muscle. Straighten your elbows. Last one on this side. Good, just cross the arms, but continue with the lunges. Straight back with the leg. Keep the arms nice and straight. Again, notice my arms are staying parallel with the floor. They're not dropping down. Try to do that as well. Keep them up. A little harder. But you're going to contract those shoulder muscles a little more vigorously this way, keeping your arms up. And that's what we want right now. Let's do 1 more, and then hands on hips for the curtsy. Hands here, let's go ahead, curtsy. Keep the hips as square as you can as you go through these. You can sink into the hip as you twist. Try to keep your hips level as you twist. It's really going to force a nice stretch to the piriformis, the muscle kind of back here, and adjacent muscles to the piriformis. We'll get a really nice stretch. Maybe you can feel that. And you can feel those same muscles contract out of the bottom to come up. Let's do 1 more on each side, 1 here. And then butt kicks. Almost finished with the warm-up. We'll do, I think we'll do some of those power jacks again, and we'll get into it. Just keep driving the heels up. Keep them up. Okay, power jacks. Elbows up. Don't let them fall. Keep your forearms vertical with the floor. I know your arms want to internally rotate. Don't let that happen. Keep them open. Really open up the shoulder. It's a good warm up for the rotator cuff, all those upper back muscles, if you do this correctly. Couple more here. Let's do one more. And good, we got push-ups. So we'll get right into it here. Toes, feet, it's up to you. Let's just start moving our bodies. And again, as you do your push-up here, plank position. So pull your abs in. Make sure if you're on your toes, make sure your knees are straight. You're not sagging the knees. So push the knees back if you are on those toes. Pull the abs in, regardless of your knees or your toes. And if you got that, make sure the shoulders are sitting back and down as you roll through the push-ups. If you look at your palms, it's okay to have them slightly turned out, but not internally rotated. So either neutral or slightly out is cool. Continue to push up. You got 20 seconds here. Just keep moving. And we're going to flip over onto our back for a little supine exercise. A nice compliment to this. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades back and down. When you do a push-up, you should actually feel the lat muscle contract as you lower to the floor. If you're not there yet, that's fine. This is your big lat muscle. Technically, it's shortening as you are lowering yourself to the floor. So see if you can feel the lat muscle really squeeze as you lower down. Let's go ahead and flip over onto our back here. No dumbbells necessary. Keep your feet flexed the entire time. Okay, arms straight, legs straight. Full extension, flexion of the body. If this is too much for you, shallow your range of motion, particularly through the legs, but continue to give yourself full range of motion through the arms. So because your arms quite a bit lighter than the legs and the hips, if you're going to shallow range, shallow through the legs. Okay? Don't shallow through the arms right now. I really want you to emphasize full range of motion through the shoulders, through the upper back. So again, pick what range works for you. Keep the arms nice and straight. As you bring your arms back all the way to the floor, make sure the arms are not going wide. We're not doing a Y. You are doing an I. Okay? Likewise with the legs. They should stay together. It should feel like your legs are literally glued together from really the big toe all the way to the groin. So squeeze those inner thigh muscles. Really squeeze the inner thigh muscles. Let's do one more here. Keep the feet flexed, elbows straight. You got it. Down dog. Nice transition. If you think about mechanics of what you were just doing, it is essentially a down dog without movement. You don't have to think too hard about that. But what we're doing right now is flexion of the shoulders, flexion of the hips, and you just came from doing flexion and extension of the shoulders and hips. So take advantage of this moment. Stretch and release through all the posterior muscles of the body. You can see here as I'm doing the down dog, I am kind of shifting around. I'm rotating. In some ways, it's like an extension to the warm-up. You certainly have permission to move your hips right now. But the goal on the down dog is to emphasize the tilting. This is tilting, not tucking. Okay, that's a different stretch. So focus on the tilt of the pelvis as you push the heels back. Your weight should be on your big toes, but you're trying to drive the heels down as you tilt your pelvis forward. You want to keep your back flat or even slightly extended on this. You're not rounding. Good. Right into it. I'm going to start this off on the knees. I'll probably shift to my toes at some point. But again, pick what works for you and start pushing. Again, make sure your shoulders are sitting back and down the entire time on this. It's easy as fatigue sets in for the shoulders to start elevating. You don't want that. You want, again, like I was saying, you want to feel the lat muscle contract. I don't know if I've cued it that way, but it's another way to think about the sensation of a push-up is as you're lowering to the floor, these big back muscles right here, they are contracting along the flanks of your spine, getting tighter, 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 lowering you to the floor, protecting the front of the shoulder because you got all that tension through the mid and upper back. Another way to think about doing your push-up. All right, we got 10 seconds here. We'll finish it up. And then we're going to flip over onto our back for that supine. Just keep moving. If you've got nothing left, hold your plank. We'll do one more. You got it. All right, flip onto that back. Supine exercise. Keep your feet flexed. Again, this is flexion of the shoulders and hips. Does a really nice job lengthening through the entire posterior chain. Obviously, there's a little movement, so it's dynamic. All good stuff. I need you to pay mind to what your low back is doing in this exercise, because this is probably the most, risky is the wrong word, but your low back is probably the most at risk mechanically part of your body due to where the weight and where the fulcrum is at the hip. So pull your abs in. If your low back is feeling wonky on this, shallow your range of motion. If it's still feeling wonky on this, you can hold the position with a bent knee. Again, you want some stress to the low back. I mean, that's how you strengthen the low back. That's how you lengthen the low back. So you need to stress the musculature. But again, it's not overwhelmingly stressful. It's difficult. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but you feel like you can at least stabilize whatever range of motion you go to with the legs. You could hold that for several seconds, right, or a minute. Like if you get here and you're like, oh, I can't hold these legs, you've gone too far. The range is overtaxing your ability to stabilize that position. So tune into that for yourself, because everyone is a little different on that range of motion. Let's do one more here. And then how about those down dogs? Again, same kind of down dog. I'll show you face on here. It's certainly okay to shift the hips right now. Sometimes I'll have you do a down dog that's a little more isometric, meaning I just want you to hold the position and focus on certain squeezing of certain muscle groups. But right now I want you to do it just a little more fluidly and focusing primarily on the tilting as you kind of move your hips around. Okay, focus on pushing down on your big toes as you move your hips around and tilt the pelvis forward. Push your knees back. But again, if you're going to push your knees back, make sure the back is not rounding to push the knees back. That's going to mitigate some of the stretching that we want. So if you push the knees back, you're tilting the pelvis forward. But again, keep kind of moving around here. You don't have to turn this into some sort of battle. Just kind of make it light. Keep it fluid. We're going to go about 20 more seconds here. Hopefully you can start to feel some muscles through the back of the legs. Release. Just keep kind of rocking out. Eventually in time, yes, you'll actually get those heels to the floor and your body will look like a perfect triangle. We got about 5 seconds here. And then I believe we are on our feet. Yes, we are. Grab your dumbbells. We got a squat to an overhead press. We're just going to get right into it. We're going to keep that moving. I'm really sweating here. Hands at your shoulders. I don't have dumbbells, but you do. Sit back into that squat. Stand tall. Press. Fully straighten the elbows. Arms back to shoulders. Rinse and repeat. Here we go. Got a full minute here. Flare the arms. Really focus on flaring the arms. Obviously, as you sit in that squat, you are sinking into the hips. You are not squatting just down, but you're also squatting back. As you squat back, you are staying upright because you're keeping the shoulders open, broad to the front of the body. So expand those arms, expansive wings as you sink into that squat. And then obviously the little press at the top of that movement. Keep moving here though. One thing you could think about coming out of the bottom of the squat is focusing on the glute. So you get to this position right here, you got 30 seconds. Get to this bottom position here. I want you to feel your glute max flex. Feel the muscles squeeze to lift. Now on the shoulder press, also the posterior chain. On the press, I want you to actually feel the rotator cuff. I want you to feel those muscles right there. Contract and stabilize the whole front of the shoulder joint, that whole capsule as you press up. If you don't feel tension through here today, like as like an anchor point to the front of the shoulder, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You got 10 seconds. In time, you will. Let's go ahead and do 2 more squats here. Sit back. Flare the arms. Helps with feeling those sensations. Last one here. And now we can really just isolate on those shoulder sensations by just doing shoulder press. So jump right into it with me. Keep moving here. Stand nice and tall. So let's work the entire kinetic chain. Weight back on your heels. You are shoulder pressing. Obviously, I'm not, but just keep moving here. Weight on the heels. Push down on your toes. Make sure the weight is evenly on the feet. Your feet are not supinating. They're not set muscles and squeeze the inner thighs. Just the weight's still on the heels, so you push it down on the toes. Make sure the knees are straight. Squeeze the glutes, really squeeze the glutes. I'm not kidding, squeeze the glutes. You got 30 seconds. Pull the abs in, keep squeezing the glutes. Now with your arms, flare the arms. I want you to contract your upper back muscles. You do that by flaring your arms. Don't forget about your knees, don't forget about your heels. Push down on those toes. With the arms flared, head and neck back. Press up without the arms going forward. Really engage those upper back muscles. You got 10 seconds here. All the way at the top, I want you to pull your arms back, pull your head back, pull your shoulders down, straighten your elbows, pull your abs in, squeeze your glutes. Hold all of that perfectly, because that's what you're doing right now. Go and relax that. We've got dumbbells at sides, alternating backward lunges. So relax the shoulders here. Let's just kind of move that out. Move the legs out. Kind of flush that out. Just kind of let the arms just let them go. If they flop around a little bit for a couple more seconds, that's fine. Just let that tension go. We've got 2 minutes of lunges here right now. So we're just going to keep moving the legs. This will start to get kind of hard like those squats, but we're going to add a little overhead thing in about 30 seconds here. But for the meantime, just keep moving. Now bend your back knee a little more, because I know it feels like you're bending your back knee a lot, but you could bend it more. As you bend your back knee more, you can see what happens to the position of my hips. I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit, but as I bend the knee, while the hip actually sets itself into a more neutral level position. So I want you to bend the back knee to do that. Why is that important? Because when your hip is level right here, this muscle, this big glute muscle, that can fire. And the faster you can kind of realize the changes or the relationships with how your pelvis is positioned and how you engage muscles, the more effective you are going to be at these exercises. All right, bring your arms up the entire time. Just hold them up. We're going to continue with the lunges here. You're focusing on bending the back knee. Again, muscles pull on bones. It's really all that exercise is. It's just muscles contracting, stretching, and that pulls on bones. So we want your bones pulled on particular ways, which requires you to put your bones in particular positions to get those muscles contracting. That should make sense. So again, the sooner you can kind of tune in relationship of what's happening through the pelvis, the better the muscle engagement you're going to get through the targeted muscle areas, in this case, the glute. So keep those arms up. You got 15 seconds. Straighten the elbows. Keep the wrists straight because they're probably bending. Bend your knee. I'm giving you cues that your joints don't want to do, but do it. It's not the path of least resistance. It's good for you. You got one more here. You got it. All right. Arms at shoulders. We got another round of this. We got squat overhead press. We get right into it. Here we go. Sit back into the squat. Up to press. Fully straighten your arms. Sit back. As you sit into your squat, I want you drawing your abs in. No joke. All the way in. Everything you got. You get to the bottom, it's like, I'm hollow. And then with that hollow feeling, squeeze your butt. Seriously, squeeze your glutes. Over-contract them. Way harder than what is necessary to do the lifting. You get to the top of the position here, you're really focusing on those upper back muscles. You are flaring those arms because you are contracting those upper back muscles or pulling your arms back, the bones back. And then from there, press up. Press up without arching your low back. I haven't talked about that today, but you're probably aware. As your arms come to about here, this is when your low back wants to start doing this. This is why the strength of your core is important, because it resists this. Your abs act as the antagonist from this happening. So let's strengthen those abs right now. Draw them in, no joke, pull them in all the way in, squeeze your glutes to help with that anchor, and then press up. And don't let that low back arch because you're going to strengthen those abs. You can strengthen a lot of muscles doing just a shoulder press. You put your mind to it. You put your intent, your attention towards these areas of the body. Push your knees back, pull up on your kneecaps, squeeze your glutes a little more, flare your arms. You got 3 seconds. One more press. Nice job. Okay, let's go back to those lunges here. I may have skipped an exercise, but we're going to just keep rolling. So alternate backward lunge. I think I skipped the overhead squat. That's fine now. Here we roll. Just straight back. Keep your shoulders upright. Bend the back knee. Bend the back knee. Stay nice and tall. Okay. Draw the abs in. Get to that bottom position. Your hips are in a neutral position. They're as neutral as they can be for you. Okay. Maybe your hips aren't quite as perfectly neutral as mine are. It's fine. Continue to work on the cues because the cueing that I would apply to myself applies to you. And ultimately, long term, it'll result in you being where you want to be, moving the way you want to move. A couple more steps here. You got 15 seconds. And then arms are just simply coming up. But we're going to continue with the backward lunge. So squeeze. You're bending the back knee. And then squeeze the glute to stand up. Now bring your arms up. Hold them up the entire time. We're going to do a full honest minute here. Keep the elbows nice and straight. Make sure your shoulders are down. Okay, I want you to actively squeeze your shoulders down. And that might feel really hard to do because your arms are up above your head. Because what I'm asking you to do is contract a stretched muscle. And that's probably one of the harder things you can do mechanically with your muscles is contract a very stretched muscle. Trust me, I know your arms feel stretched right now because they are. So straighten your elbows, stretch them more. Arms back, wrists straight. Now pull your shoulders down. Now with you drawing your shoulders down, you're putting all that attention to the shoulders sitting down. What about those abs? Because you're noticing as you're drawing your shoulders down, you're relaxing here. I can feel it. It's really, really hard to pay attention to both. But try to right now. Squeeze your shoulders down and keep your abs pulled in. You got 10 seconds. Can you maximally do that? Just focus on those two things. Don't worry about elbows, wrists, whatever. Next time. Shoulders down, abs in. You got it. Come on to that. Okay. Keep your dumbbells in your hands. I got a hinging exercise with the shoulder extension. We're going to start on the left side here. So you're going to hold a single leg hinge. This is going to be a good challenge for us. Point your back toe, and we're doing shoulder extension. We've done something like this before. Go ahead, join me. But it was a little harder because we were coming forward with the arms. So I'm actually being a little nicer on you today. This is not an easy exercise by any means. However, not going forward, flexion, Does make it a little easier because flexion is quite a bit harder in this position than extension. Even so though, it's just as important of a movement, extension, as flexion. So different muscle action, but really important for still strengthening up your back. Try to keep your hips as square as possible. Now you'll notice I'm in the full range of motion here as I hold this position. If you need to be up a little higher as you go into shoulder extension, no foul. Do what works for you. Even if you need to kickstand, okay, that's fine, all right? But if you have the strength, find the position at range of motion you can stabilize, that end point for maximum intensity, and then begin the movement. All right, let's do the other side, same thing. I lost my balance there. Okay, so again, pull your abs in. Make sure the hips are in as neutral position as you can. Try to straighten the grounded leg. You want that leg nice and straight. And then with your weight evenly distributed on that back foot with your dumbbells in hand, go ahead, draw into that shoulder extension. Again, this is pretty tough. I mean, I'm giving you a challenging exercise. It's kind of the peak series of this workout today. So do our best to get through it here. It's tough to stabilize after kind of fatigue starts setting in, but that's what we got. That's what we're doing. Anyway, we'll get through it. Keep pulling your abs in. Squeeze your shoulders back. Keep your arms nice and straight here. Just bounce it out. Push it down on the big toe. Point that back toe. As hard as this is, I guarantee you'll feel really, really good after this. Your muscles are going to feel really lengthened out. Keep going here. You got one more here. One more. I'm losing my balance. You got it. All right, now backward lunges here. Just keep your hands at your sides. Bend the back knee. Legs should hopefully feel kind of loosey-goosey after that. Holding those lengthened stretch positions. Really good stuff. Keep drawing the abs in. Bend the back knee. Straight forward with the feet. Push through the heels. Let's keep moving. We're going to go through the series again. Lucky us. Same thing with the arms, same thing with the legs. I am trying to burn your legs out right now. So I should be kind of feeling that way a little. That's all good though. Bend the knees. Nice and upright. We got 15 seconds here. Just continue to move. Straight back. Pull the abs in. Neutral hips. Bend the back knee to help with that. Neutral hips. All right. We'll do the left side down here first. Find yourself in that position. Point your back toe. Try to square your hips up as much as you can to the floor. The problem means you have to rotate your right hip down. And then from there, pull the arms back. Now again, the arms are staying nice and straight on this. And you're really focusing on the back of the arm, the back of the shoulder, and the upper back. The last place, the last sensation you'll probably feel contract are the actual shoulder blades. The reason is the arms have to be pretty high, and you have to actively be able to squeeze the shoulder blades back to really feel them contract in this position. Work towards that. So if you're not there today, with your arms back and then contracting, it's fine. Just continue to work on pulling. It's tough to do it. It's really hard to do it in this position. I get it. Go ahead and switch sides. So right side down. But even if it feels almost impossible, it's okay. Just continue to work towards the sensations, and you can always shallow up your range of motion. Again, something like this, I know basically everyone can do. Okay, maybe not everyone can hold a full T position with the legs and then do a shoulder extension. That's fine. So again, make the modifiers. Pull your abs in and make sure the leg is nice and straight. So as you're balancing out on your right leg right now, keep the knee back. Push down on your big toe. Point your back toe. Probably forgot about that. I did too. Keep moving here. You got 15 seconds here. We'll finish it up. If you need to take little breaks on this one, that's fine. Balancing on one leg is pretty tough stuff. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Got one more here. We're gonna hold here. Hold, just squeeze the shoulders. Let that go. You got it, backward lunge. Alternate steps. Bend the back knee. Okay. All right, that's getting my heart rate up a little bit. Got about 30 more seconds here. Just keep moving. Then we're going to hit the floor, a little Cobra extension. That should actually feel kind of nice. little harder series here. 15 seconds or so. All right, let's do one more on each side here. And last lunge. You got it. Okay. Set your dumbbells down. We're going to be in a Cobra Extension. So relax your lower part of your body here on this, but do keep your toes, keep your legs together. So just whatever muscle tension you need to keep your legs, toes pointed, legs together, apply that. And then from there, work in to extend through the spine. From low back, mid back, to upper back, to the neck. You're trying to get full extension. As you work through full extension here, make sure the shoulders sit down. That's the number one thing I see people do wrong when they do a Cobra extension. The whole idea of extension is Cobra exercise, it's a spine extension exercise, is to lift extending. When your shoulders pop up, it actually causes flexion, or it's going to be more likely to cause flexion, and it's going to make it harder for you to get the erectors of the spine to extend you up. So as you do Cobra extension, do not let your shoulders shrug. It doesn't look like this. It looks like this. And then squeeze the elbows back, tight, and then lower down. Now, I'm pushing a little weight through my palms. I could do it without. But as I push my palms, it's maybe 10, 12, 15%. It's light. I'm not pushing through my palms. It's there as consistent, the floor. But I'm trying to get the back muscles to contract, which is causing the lifting. This position. I'm going to switch to legs here in just a second. We got 5 seconds here. Let's do one more. Squeeze the shoulder blades together nice and tight. Really squeeze them. Go ahead, let that go. Hands at sides here. You're on your chin. Yes, it's okay. You're on your chin. Just make sure your shoulders are out of your ears. Point your toe, lift. I want you to feel your right hip on the floor. We're holding. Yes, it's going to be a long 30 seconds as you hold this position. So as you hold the position, feel the front of that right hip. Pull up on the kneecap, so you're tightening the quadricep muscle. That front thigh muscle is tight. Then with that tight thigh muscle, I want you to point that toe a little harder. And now everyone do me a favor and lift. Lift as high as you can without losing contact with that front right hip. If you're rotating, you're doing it wrong. Switch sides. Point the toe. Now once again, keep that left hip on the mat or on the floor. With your left hip on the floor, point the toe. With the left toe pointed and the left hip on the floor, pull up on the kneecap to tighten that thigh. You have a line of tension running from the hip joint on that left leg all the way down through the big toe. Tension everywhere. Pull up on the kneecap again. Now lift that leg a little higher. Don't lose contact with that hip. Who would have thunk the leg could be so heavy? Keep holding. Keep holding. You got it. Let that go. Flip over onto your back. We're going to give ourselves a little bear hug. You can release those heavy legs. Holding those isometrics is sometimes difficult depending on what it is. Anyway, a little bear hug here. You can do it this way, or you can go full show and try to. I'm actually working out pretty hard here right now. But if you aren't quite that range of motion, do your bear like so. So again, you're pulling your shoulders down, trying to tilt your pelvis to arch your low back. It's not going to happen because you're pulling the knees into the shoulders. And just draw in from there. Again, wherever we are is fine. Wherever you are is fine. You got 30 seconds here. Continue to flatten. And eventually, once your spine fully, I'm not going to say heals, but fully improves its mobility, you'll get all the vertebrae flat to the floor on this. So that is something to actually look forward to. Just as your own measure of improvement, your own measure of success. It's how flat do you get when you're doing a bear exercise? How much tension can you release through the spine? That's essentially what we're trying to measure here. How much tension can you release through the spine? Flattening yourself to the floor is a really nice measure of that. Go ahead, release that. Let's do those Cobra extensions again. So just like before, really emphasizing through that upper back, contracting through the upper back, squeezing through the upper back. Now, how much effort does it require to lift off the floor? Relative to many exercises we do, it's very low. However, doesn't mean you should be leaving effort or energy on the table. So I want you to over-contract your shoulder blade muscles tight to help lift you. It's these muscles here, these back muscles, the shoulder blade muscles, as you contract them, they are going to help with the lifting. So focus on that. put your attention towards the shoulder blades and the upper back, squeezing. It might be a little uncomfortable. It's fine. Keep going here. Maybe you can lift and be a little lighter on your palms. Maybe. If not, that's fine. Get as high as you can without that occurring. That's not allowed. Shoulders down and then lift. We got 20 seconds here. Squeeze the ankles together. Squeeze together so you want tight upper inner thighs. Keep lifting. So 2 more here. And 1 more. Squeeze the shoulder blades. You got it. Go flip over onto your back. Bear hug here. Should feel kind of nice. Oh, I'm sorry. We gotta hold the legs. I'm getting ahead of myself. Fun stuff. Can't forget the fun stuff. All right, so point to toe, leg nice and straight. Hold. We got 30 seconds on each side. Not the end of the world. Okay, try to take your fingers right now and reach them towards your toes. They're on your chin right now. That's okay. But take your fingers and reach them towards your toes. Now, for the last 10 seconds or so, I want you to lift that right leg a little higher and point that toe. As you point that toe, push the right hip down into the floor, point the toe, lift the leg. Hold there and release that. See the other side, right into it. Left hip down now on the floor as you point that left toe. Pull up on the left kneecap. Really pull up on the left kneecap to tighten that quad muscle. As you tighten that quad muscle, internally rotate the left leg a little bit. So internally, just a little bit, and then lift with that internal rotation. With that slight internal rotation on that lift, I want you to point that toe a little harder. You got 5 seconds here, so lift that leg up just a little more at the end. Go ahead, let that go. Give yourself a bear hug now. That's the order I was looking for. So with the bear hug, choose which variation works for you. Again, I'm going, I guess, the full form, where you would grab your elbows. Each palm would be able to grab the elbow with the inside of the elbow joint into the crook around the knee. And then head and neck all flattening to the floor. And you can feel everything along the spine release, really from your tailbone all the way to C, upper cervical spine. If that's not your sensation today, that's fine. It's okay. It will happen. Just keep working towards this stuff. Focusing on those muscle groups, it'll get you there. If you want to rock a little bit right now, that's fine. I'm kind of rocking just a little, just to release the low back, just slightly more. That last series we just came from can be kind of intense on the lower spine. It's not supposed to be, but it can be. Since low back tends to be really overworked on a lot of people, kind of like hamstrings, just those poor hamstrings, those poor low back muscles on so many people just get so tight. So those extension exercises that we were just doing can be a little difficult. It can be a little trying if you have particularly tight low back, tight hamstrings, but in time it shouldn't be as that tension releases. Anyway, we got about 5 seconds here. Just give yourself a little more squeeze. Squeeze the shoulders down. Really squeeze the shoulders down. Let that go. Grab your dumbbells. Let's go. And then we're going to be on our feet for some movement. We're going to be holding a squat position. So real wide sumo squat. Just hold the squat position as we go through shoulder flexion and abduction. So we're going to tackle 2 movements. Did this on Wednesday. Stand nice and tall. Draw your abs in. Squeeze your glutes. Anchor from your butt. Do the shoulder flexion here first with the arms nice and straight. Turn the palms to face open, and then abduction. So alternating between the 2 movements. Begin, whether you have 3s or 5s, great. Just continue to move your arms throughout. Now, keep your elbows nice and straight. I know you knew I was going to say that cue, but even so, straight elbows, particularly as the arms get to about this position. Right around here is when you're going to notice that happens. Resist that, because that's the improvement we want, not just for the arms, but it translates to the back. It translates to that spine, which arguably is what we are trying to improve. It's your spine mobility through all of these exercises. Yes, they get you stronger, et cetera, et cetera. They improve your stabilization, et cetera, et cetera. It's all good stuff. But in my opinion, it all really kind of comes back to the health of your spine and the mobility of your spine. The easier your back is able to move in every direction, the easier your arms and legs are going to move. So that's why we focus on spine posture, and that's why I want you to focus on spine posture. It'll improve the way you move, not just in these silly exercises, because they are silly. When you think about it, what we're doing, but the way you improve in life. So that's what it's about here. Keep the palms nice and forward, elbows straight. You got 20 seconds. I know it feels like a forever minute, it kind of is. Just keep holding the legs. Draw your abs in, squeeze your glutes, keep your arms nice and straight. I want you to feel some burn in your shoulders. So squeeze your shoulders down as you keep those elbows straight. We're taking this to a really tough combo because it's an overhead squat. If you need to set your dumbbells down, that's fine, I understand. But otherwise, if you've got a little more gas in the tank, keep your feet sumo wide just as they were and sink into that squat. So I'm giving you a little reprieve. The reprieve is actually a wider stance squat. So you'll notice when your legs are like this, it's much easier to get low with decent form than with your legs like this. And the reason is there's just less stretching or less pulling happening on the lower back when your legs are in this position versus this position. So it will make it slightly easier to keep your arms up. But with that being said, is this an easy exercise? No. And it's not really much easier with your legs going wide. So even so, keep your arms back, pull the abs in. The back is nice and flat. You get 20 seconds here. So I'm going to show you from the side with the arms nice and straight. You're not doing this. Don't do this. Keep your back flat. So push the knees out. Feel like you are hollowing out through the front of your hips here. Pull the abs in, arms back, sink into the hips as you push the knees out. Should feel like a big hip opener. Particularly through kind of the front of the hips here. Even the back a little. Sink back. Draw the abs in, arms straight. Okay, 5 seconds here. We're almost done. And you got it, half moon. Set your dumbbells down. So you got 30 seconds on each side. I want you to cross your left leg over your right. Take your right arm, grab your left, and then go to the right. Push your left hip back. Pull your right arm back. The goal is to straighten the arms. You can see my arms are nice and straight here. They're not here, and they're not forward. As you straighten the arm, you are pushing your hips to the left, but you're making sure the hips are staying square. So again, you're in this plane, meaning your left hip is not rotating way forward, meaning your shoulder on the left side is not rotating way forward. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So cross the right leg now over the left. Left arm into the right hand, and then you're going to pull your right arm to the left. Pull your right arm back with the left arm. Try to straighten your arms, and then push your hips to the right. As you push your hips to the right, I need you to pull your right hip back because it's probably going way forward. Why? Because this is not as much stretch as this. So keep your hip back and then pull the arm back. You got 5 seconds here. Keep holding. You're fine. And go ahead, let that go. Grab your dumbbells again. We got that sumo squat with that flexion and abduction. So set your anchor here, neutral hip position, however low you are, whether you're here or here, it's fine. Grab your dumbbells and begin. Keep the arms nice and straight as we roll through here. Good challenging couple minutes. That's fine. Arms straight, shoulders down, head, neck long. Okay, don't let the head come forward. See if you can feel your head wanting to track forward when your arms come overhead. See if you can notice at what point when your arms are moving through range of motion, position of your head, the position of your shoulders, heck, even the position of your low back. At what point do you feel you wanting to make adjustments through your body, through your spine, through your joints, as you're moving through a nice range of motion? What we're trying to do is teach you how to cancel out unnecessary movement. Another way to think about what we're doing is canceling out unnecessary movement. You can enjoy a little more stillness through the exercise. Pull the abs in, head, neck long, shoulders down. You got 15 seconds here. Keep it coming. You should be actively squeezing your glutes, by the way. Actively. Squeeze your butt. Pull your abs in. Squeeze your butt. You got 5 seconds here. And then we got the overhead squats. Let's do one more. Okie dokie. Keep your legs nice and wide. We're not done. You got overhead squat. Go right into it. I want this to burn. This is going to be a tough minute. Maybe one of the hardest minutes. Just move. Pull your arms back. Keep your arms straight. And you just straighten your arms right now. Pull your arms back a little more. And you just pulled your arms back, but your head came forward. Draw your arms back again. Now pull your head back. Elbows. Pull your arms back. Elbows. Pull your arms back. Head back. Abs in. Abs way in. And you just sit back into those squat. Don't arch your low back. You have 30 seconds here. Straighten your elbows. Straighten those elbows. Arms back. Wrists straight. Wrists. Don't bend the wrists. Now pull your arms back with those straight wrists. Straighten your elbows though. Arms back again. You got 15 seconds here. You're not stopping. I'm going to finish it up with you. Pull your arms back. Sink into the hips. Abs in. Straighten your elbows. Arms back. You got 5 seconds here. Arms back. You got one more squat. Arms back. Elbows. Nice job. Okay. Half moon. Set your dumbbells down. Take your left over your right. You're going to take the right arm. Push your hips to the left as you take your right arm and pull that left arm back. Pull your left hip back. That's going to make sure that you're not twisting your body. We don't want twisting on this. Okay, you're actually just the lateral flexion of the spine. Squeeze your upper inner thighs together. Maybe you can't really feel that sensation. That's okay. By the way, if this is too much with the leg cross, you can always do it like so. Go ahead to the other side. So if you're doing it with the leg cross, which I would encourage you to try, cross the legs. And now we're going to the left as you straighten the right arm using the strength of your left arm. Then pull that right arm back. And then pull your right hip back. Draw your abs in, by the way. See if you can do that. Pull those abs away in. It might feel impossible. Like, how do you even draw your abs in this position? It took me a long time to even get that sensation. But once you kind of got it, it's like, oh, that's what that's supposed to feel like. That's kind of cool. So just keep pulling the abs in, pull the arms back, and let that go. Okay, so we're going to be in a quadruped position. This one's a little more gentle. Opposite arm and leg extension. Keep your shoulders over your palms. Point your toe. Alternate sides. Begin. As you do this, you probably know you want a flat back. Yes, you want a very flat back as you do this. So you shouldn't be arching. Okay, so try not to particularly the low back as you lift a leg. Pull the abs in. Again, this is your anchor for this. So you're in, you're tight, and then you extend, but you don't have to adjust here because this is strong. Then your leg is fully straight. You got tight hamstrings, tight quadricep muscles pulling up on the kneecap, really pointing that toe. And obviously opposite arm is extended. Perfectly straight. Again, you can hold for a couple seconds here. That's fine. Make sure your arm, as it's flexing up here, is not rotating at the shoulder joint. You're not doing that. Don't rotate. We don't want that. I want your hips as square as your shoulders. So facing forward towards the floor, and then when you do those arm and leg lifts, you're making sure that the back muscles are contracting and stabilizing, and you're not throwing unnecessary tension into adjacent muscle groups. We don't want that. Go ahead, come out of that. We got a cat-cow. So give me a little cat here, focusing on flexion. This is flexion of the spine. See if you can memorize that cue. Flexion right here, flexion. This is extension of the spine. So again, I talk in anatomical terms all the time. So it's just, it's good. It's informative to know. Obviously, I can cue general muscle groups and stuff like that, but you understand the basis of what we're doing, flexion, extension. It gives you a better intuition in terms of what you should be feeling in the exercises, just in the most general senses. So again, extension of the spine, flexion of the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. Look up, it's fine. Keep the shoulders back and down. Really pull the abs in when you're in the cat. Really contract the shoulder blades when you're in the cow. Really squeeze the glutes when you're in the cat. Really squeeze the glutes when you're in the cat. 15 seconds here. All right, switch, quadruped again. Just doing these two exercises. So point to toe, keep your arms straight. Try to keep the wrists straight too, by the way, even the fingers. I see you can just stack everything. I'm running out of space here. But then you can just stack everything, every joint. It's nice and neutral. Again, wherever you get to at the finished position, hold for a couple seconds, it's fine. When you get to that finished position, maybe push the shoulder that's floating down just a little bit, and then try to lift the arm a little higher. So maybe that could be the last thing you think of is before you come out of the rep, you got the leg, it's all set, low back feels good, mid back feels good, you've got that arm lifting, but then draw the shoulder down and then pull the arm back just a little higher. Yes, that's really hard to do. The arm does not want to do that, I get it, but do it anyway. Set the leg, pull the abs in, lift the arm up just a little higher and rotate that shoulder down and then lift that arm up a little higher. I know it doesn't want to, lift it. Good. Same thing. Just keep doing that. Set the low body and really focus on the stretch. You're also strengthening through that shoulder as you lift, but keep the shoulders square with the floor. You got 5 seconds here. You got it. Cat cow. Nicely done. Okay, so just one more here, and then it looks like we will be back on our feet. Is that right? Yes, it is. Flexion and extension. I'm going to show you face on. Just keep moving here through that spine. Pull those abs way in when you're in that cat position. Squeeze the glutes when you're in that cat position. Opposite, by the way, when you're in the cow, you're not pulling your abs and you're actually relaxing your abs. Just relax the entire front side of the body. The jaw even. Just keep moving. This one, by the way, should feel good. This should feel good. It should feel good. Squeeze your shoulders. We're gonna go 10 more seconds here. We'll grab those dumbbells. More lunges, lucky us. Squeeze your shoulders back. All right. Grab your dumbbells. Let's do some lunges. Left leg is gonna be static the entire time. Just like a split squat, if you will. Up and down, hands at sides. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Let's get right into it here. We're gonna get a little burn, little overload going on this left and right leg right now. You can see the pace I'm going. I want you to match me. So you're probably going to get about 40 lunges in 60 seconds. Yes, your legs are going to burn. And then we're going to do the other side. Just keep moving. Okay, that's 2 minutes of work. That's fine. Just bend your back knee. So as that fatigue sets in, we're right about now. Your back knee's not going to want to bend anymore. I need you to bend your back knee. Bend your back knee so you can further exhaust the back of the front left hip. So you can further contract and try to strengthen those muscles. Bend the back knee. Keep lunging. Keep bending the back knee. Don't stop bending the back knee. Pull the abs in a little bit. Straight up and down. Keep moving. Okay, other side. Nicely done. Okay, that leg's feeling a little shaky. Good. Now let's do the other side. Full minute here. Just keep lunging straight up and down. Keep your legs forward in their lanes. Again, bending the back knee, squeezing the glute of that front leg. Bend the back knee. I know right about now it's like, I don't want to. I need you to bend the knee. Can you even lightly tap the knee to the floor without falling forward? Can you do that? Try that. Maybe you're not quite there. That's fine. Point is let's tax the muscle system right now. Let's get some muscle burn going. Keep moving. Keep moving. Bend the knee. 10 seconds here. Keep going. One more. You got it. Bring your left leg forward, standing forehead to the knee. You're going to release that tension here right now. So make sure your hips are staying nice and square. Push as you cat. We're not doing a straight spine. That's a different thing. I want you to catch your back. And then try to pull the abs in. Make sure to push the left hip back. Feet are forward in their lanes. So your hips would be nice and square, just as they would be if you were starting from the start position here. You're just flexing over, not shifting, not rotating. You really feel some nice, tremendous stretching through the back, the front left leg, but it's not so overwhelming that it's getting in the way of any sensation you have through the back. If you can't feel your low back right now, I need you to bend the front knee a little more. Pull the abs in a little bit. You got 20 seconds here. We don't have a full minute. Really pull the abs in. Yes, you feel a stretch here. Bend the knee if you need to. Push the hip back. Squeeze your inner thighs together as you pull your abs in. Let's do the other side. So again, start with about a 3 feet staggered stance. Make sure your hips are nice and square. And then you start simply rounding forward, allowing that spine to flex, much like the cat, as you pull your abs in. If you want to, you can grab behind the leg to help round you forward so you can get that forehead to the knee. Wherever you are is fine. Push your right hip back. Pull your abs in. Squeeze your upper inner thighs. Really squeeze your upper inner thighs. Round that back. Pull the abs in. Again, should not take this to pain. Yes, if you need to back off, do so. This one can be pretty intense on people. It really, really can be. All right, come out of that. We're going to do some lunges again. So left leg forward here first. Here we go. You got your dumbbells in hands. If there's no gas in the tank, that's fine. Dump the dumbbells. But you're lunging regardless. And you're lunging to your end point. So as we get close to the end of the hour here, there is that point of no return on that range of motion. You go so low, it's like I can't recover with even reasonable form. I want you to flirt with that line right now. So right to that point where it's like I'm going to fall apart if I go any lower. Just right there. Keep floating with that line. Maintain the best form that you can. You got 20 seconds on this side. So bend the back knees. You draw the abs in. Every time you come up, I need you to squeeze the glute. Every time on the bottom, tighten that butt muscle, push up, okay? You got 5 seconds on this side. Just keep lunging, up and down. Switch sides, nice job. All right, bending the back knee now. Lunging up and down. Nice and smooth. Abs drawn in. Full minute here. Legs forward. Don't fall forward. I know you want to start really falling forward. Keep pulling the abs and sit back. Stay upright. You do that through bending the back knee. You know that. It's just doing it. Let's do it what your body does not want to do right now. But in some strange ways, for whatever reason, it will thank you afterwards. Never met someone who said they felt worse after a workout. So I guess there's that. You will feel better if we get through this minute and 15 more seconds. So just tell yourself that. There's 15 seconds left. You're lunging and things are burning. But that's okay. Just keep lunging. Push through the heel, bend the back knee. Let's do one more lunge here, last one. Holy cow. Set your dumbbells down. Forehead to knee. Left foot forward here first. Here we go. So wherever you are is fine. Just get right into it here. This one, by the way, I don't need a whole lot of movement. I want you focusing more on muscle contractions. So again, a little more static stretch here. Not quite like the down dog. But as you're holding this position, focus on right now squeezing the inner thighs together, regardless of how bent or straight that front knee is. Squeeze the upper inner thighs together. Now, push your left hip back, regardless of how straight the knee is. Push the left hip back as you squeeze the upper inner thighs. Pull the abs in, and then catch your back. Don't lose the anchor with the inner thighs. That's both of them, not just left. It's like you're squeezing your legs together. And then push down on your big toe. Both big toes for that matter. Go ahead, let that go. Same thing on the other side. Again, neutral start position. And then catch your back as you squeeze the inner thighs together. Squeezing the inner thighs together will make sure that the legs stay forward in their lanes and that the femur at the actual ball and socket does not externally rotate. So I see that a lot. When people go into flexion of the hip and flexion of the spine, but primarily flexion of the hip, we're doing flexion causes external rotation when people go into flexion. I see it all the time. So the point is when you squeeze your upper inner thighs, the ball and socket joint up at the head of the femur isn't going to twist open. It's not going to turn open by squeezing the upper inner thighs. So just think about that right now. Squeeze those upper inner thighs, pull the abs in. And you can round forward, try to get that forehead to the knee. Maybe someday you'll get there. Practice this enough, you will. It's kind of a cool thing about it. Go ahead, let that go. You get another nice stretch. You do pigeon. Left foot under the right. Straighten your right leg back. Flatten yourself to the floor. So like the last exercise, this is also important that you have square hips. Okay, so no, I mean technically it's possible you can get your right hip to touch the floor. But if that's not you today, probably it'd be pretty remarkable if it was. You're still square. So again, if you're a little more upright, or you even have to hold the position, that's fine. You don't look like this into the pigeon. Why? Because I'm trying to release on that left side right now, big tailbone over the back of the ball and socket of your femur. Here's your femur. So those muscles that attach to here can release all that, tension. That can release your low back, just in general. So again, pigeon's a really nice stretch for the back of the hip, really nice stretch for the low back. Find what works for you. Please don't take it to pain. You can back off if your knee's like, oh my God. If your hip's like, oh my God, again, come out of it. That's totally fine. If you have to hold yourself, or even do something like this, it's fine. Totally fine. Let's do the other side. So again, I can show you fully regressed. It would look something like here. And I just one flag in front. And I just hold the position. That's still going to release this. Now, if you're in this position here, you still want to push the right hip back. As you push that right hip back, you can start to lengthen the left hip back. And then, yeah, maybe you can get those hips close to the floor. If you really want to get into it, because you've got awesome mobility, go for it. Flatten yourself. Reach to the back left foot. Reach hard to the back foot. And then take the arms and reach. And you'll notice your spine in time flattens to the floor. It's much like any of the traction exercises we were doing earlier in the hour that we do every workout. So again, it's all about just releasing tension to the posterior chain. Pigeon happens to be another one that does an excellent job at that. So, and how will you know progress? It's how flat you can get to the floor. So if you feel like you're here today and not very close to the floor, that's fine. Again, as you get closer to the floor, that's your kinetic chain releasing tension. That's what you want. Anyway, cold course pose. Real kind of gentle finish here today, but we had some fairly challenging circuits. So I want you to hold this, draw your abs in. This is not completely passive. You are trying to stretch yourself in two different directions with your heels. They're going towards the wall, away from you with your hands, towards the wall, over your head. Make sure the shoulders are still sitting down, though, as you reach the straight arms back. And you're trying to flatten your back as you flex your heels. Okay, this is pretty tough to get the entire spine flat to the floor, but that is the goal. So again, my arms are on the floor. They're not resting on the floor. There's a difference. I'm actively contracting the muscles to keep the arms straight, to keep the wrists straight, to keep the shoulders down, to keep the head and neck long, to keep the abs drawn in. You can see my abs are pulled in. It's helping to ensure the low back stays flat to the floor. That's going to help me reach harder through the heel, create a little more length through the back of the leg. Now don't forget about those arms because those elbows were bending. Guarantee they were bending. Pull the abs in as you straighten the elbows and then reach hard to the heels. Go ahead and let that go. We're going to do it real quick, one more round through each of these. A little faster than a minute, but let's do a pigeon left side here first. Just release the back of that hip. Find yourself wherever it is. I'm talking a lot here, and obviously you are listening, but you can certainly slow down your breathing. It's perfectly fine. We inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. That'll really, really slow down the nervous system. Start triggering that recovery response, that parasympathetic recovery response. Take advantage of that. Let your heart rate settle right now. Let the tension release. Your breath is actually an interesting way of tuning into tension of your muscles. Who'd have thunk, but that's also true too. Go ahead, switch legs. So right leg under the left, point the back toe. Try to square those hips the best that you can. And relax. Just slow it down. Just slow it down. Okay, 6 seconds. Inhale through the nose. 6 second exhale through the mouth. Relax. It's not as bad as it feels. It's really not. Flex the feet. Reach your heels to the wall away from you. Take your arms, straight arms. They are back to the wall behind you. Again, your arms are nice and straight. Those abs are really drawn in. You are as skinny as you can be. Your arms are as straight as they can be. Your legs are as straight as they can be. And honestly, someday you will feel the back of your legs on the floor, the entire back of your leg. You might not feel your calf muscles touch the floor or like the back of your hamstrings touch the floor. You probably feel like calf muscles, but not feel like the hamstring muscles touch the floor because your legs are way up. And that's because your low back isn't releasing. That's okay. Again, we're doing these things to elicit those improvements so that, yeah, you can decompress the entire skeletal system and stay flat to the floor so you move more effortlessly. Not just, again, in these silly exercises that we do, but you know, when you're doing actual activities that you enjoy out in life. Continue to hold here, elbows straight, head and neck nice and long, shoulders down. Pull the abs in a little bit more for me. I want you to reach those heels. Give me one last reach with the heels. Reach hard to the arms. Draw your shoulders down, abs in. We'll call that a day. Nicely done. Thank you for joining me this Saturday. I plan on having another series for next week, so looking forward to seeing you then. Thanks.